They say silence is golden. But what if I told you silence is more powerful than gold, more dangerous than a sword, and more influential than words? Imagine standing in a room full of noise, opinions flying like arrows, and yet, the most respected person says nothing. Why? Because the wisest among us have learned a truth we all ignore: sometimes, silence speaks louder than anything else. And in a world obsessed with being heard, the real power lies in not speaking. We live in an era of constant talking. Social media, podcasts, interviews, endless debates, everyone wants their voice to be heard. We've been trained to equate speech with intelligence, presence, and leadership. But throughout history, the most brilliant minds, the true masters of thought, have practiced the opposite. They've mastered the art of silence. Today, we explore the philosophy behind staying silent, and why those who truly understand the world often choose not to speak. Here's the modern dilemma. We confuse noise for value. The louder someone speaks, the more people assume they must know what they're talking about. But look closely, how often do we regret words said in anger? How often do arguments escalate because of careless remarks? How many relationships have been ruined by speaking without thinking? Most people talk to fill silence. The wise stay silent to create space for understanding. The challenge is this: in a world that pushes you to speak, can you find the strength to hold your tongue? There's a story of a young student who approached a Zen master, bursting with questions and ideas. The student talked and talked, eager to prove his knowledge. The master served him tea and kept pouring until the cup overflowed. The student panicked, it's spilling everywhere. The master calmly replied, "Exactly. Your mind is like this cup, full of your own opinions. Until you empty it, how can you receive anything new?" The lesson was simple. Talking too much leaves no room to learn. Every time we speak, we're expressing what we already know. But when we're silent, we open ourselves to what we don't know. In business meetings, the one who listens more often understands the full picture. In conflicts, the one who pauses before responding usually gains the upper hand. In ancient philosophy, silence was seen as strength, not weakness. Socrates, Buddha, and even Jesus practiced long periods of stillness and quiet observation. They knew what many of us don't: words have weight, and they must be used sparingly. The turning point is this: silence is not the absence of speech, it is the presence of control. The moment you choose not to react, not to blurt out what you're feeling, you become powerful. Because self-control is rare. It is easier to speak than to stay silent. But in that pause, in that deep breath before words come out, lies the secret to wisdom, to peace, and even to influence. In fact, the most dangerous people in any room are not the loud ones, they are the quiet observers. They notice. They think. They plan. And when they do speak, their words matter. We often chase the spotlight, thinking our value lies in being seen and heard. But the truth is, wisdom doesn't announce itself. It whispers, or stays silent. The wisest stay quiet not because they have nothing to say, but because they have nothing to prove. They speak when needed, not when tempted. And in doing so, they protect their energy, their peace, and their power. Silence builds trust, commands respect, and signals depth. And in a world where everyone is screaming to be heard, the one who remains silent is often the one people listen to the most. So the next time you feel the urge to respond, to argue, to explain, pause. Observe. Listen. Master the silence. Because real strength isn't in speaking all the time, it's in knowing when not to. And if this message made you stop and think, maybe that's all the conversation we needed today. Follow for more insights that challenge the noise and honor the silence.